Greetings. This is the voice of Daniel speaking to you. I come again with another teaching whose time has come. In this teaching, I will speak on the concept of divine judgment as it is misunderstood in this reality, and present a new understanding that may be helpful to everyone on their journey to mental enlightenment. There is a general misunderstanding by the collective about the doctrine of final judgment of souls that they believe will occur at some distant future moment by God. It is generally believed that it is only at this moment that all souls will be judged to either have passed or failed their life lessons based on their collective choices and actions in this lifetime, which is a mental distortion based in separation consciousness and fear. The infinite Creator does not pass judgment on souls for choices made and the consequences of those choices playing out for them experientially in the duality experiment. This would only undermine the fundamental principle of the duality experiment as a whole, which is to learn about the extremes of goodness and evil. Let's consider for a moment that if God were to judge one set of choices and actions by souls to be good and rewardable, and another set of choices and actions to be bad and punishable, then clearly souls would avoid the punishable set of choices and actions in favor of the rewardable. This would create a major distortion in the duality experiment, as souls would experience and evolve in a distorted way. Souls in the duality experiment are here to experience the extreme of duality consciousness via their choices, actions, and their consequences. Therefore, what purpose would the judgment of their choices and actions serve as part of the soul's evolution via experiencing? Think on this for a moment. All souls experiencing along the positive or negative path are all working towards mental enlightenment and evolution of the soul via duality consciousness. One cannot know goodness without knowing what evil is. Both goodness and evil are two sides of the same coin that is free of judgment by the Creator. In truth, there are only two types of judgment that souls experience. The first type of judgment that a soul experiences is the physical judgment of people, place, and things that are external to the self, based on our irrational, emotional, and egoistic states of being. We judge all our experiences and interactions with others as either favorable or unfavorable, good or bad, based on how we are affected by the outcome, whether mentally, physically, or emotionally. This form of judgment is largely based in separation consciousness because we see ourselves as separate from and external to the situation we are judging, without consciously acknowledging our roles in it. We do this because we do not actively judge ourselves as a party to the interactions we engage in with others, in that we seek to pass judgment mostly on people and things that are external to us. We judge others largely as an irrational mental activity that is also an extension of our personal biases. For example, let's say you are admiring a beautiful model who the majority of people agree is beautiful based on societal standards of beauty. But, in your view, you think the model is too skinny and too tall for your taste. While you are entitled to your judgment and biased opinion of the model, you are not acknowledging your part in the scenario as a voluntary observer and unqualified judge of the model's weight and height. Do you now see the irrationality of this prevalent form of judgment by the collective of the collective? We are always judging others, and others are always judging us in every moment. But do not despair, as this judgment of others is only preparing us for the next form of judgment that souls will experience. The other form of judgment that a soul will experience is spiritual judgment or judgment of the self. This type of judgment occurs when we release the body and transition to the realm of spirit. In the realm of spirit, we are made to review our most recent life cycle, the life review, with the guidance of our spiritual guides, our ancestors in spirit, who are members of our soul group collective. The life review allows us to review all our choices and actions in the recent life cycle and how the outcomes and consequences of those choices and actions affected others and ourselves. Choices and actions that were made in service to the self at the detriment of others out of malice, envy, greed, or hate are experiences that will have created a karmic debt that will need to be healed in a future karmic cycle of incarnation. Those choices and actions that were made in service to others for the greater good of all will have created dharmic blessings, indicating that the life lesson was learned successfully. It is this measure between our positive and negative choices and actions in the recent lifetime that will cause us to choose to incarnate in a future cycle if the lessons we intended to learn in the recent lifetime were learned successfully or not. In each future life cycle, we enter into soul-level agreements with the souls with which we have karmic debt from past lifetimes, and agree to play out roles that will bring about balance and healing of the karmic debts between parties. These agreements, or soul contracts, are overseen by the Spiritual High Council, known to us as the Ascended Ones. The Spiritual High Council do not act as judges of our choices and actions, but as witnesses to the soul contracts because of their high spiritual authority and rank. Now then, it is time to release this fear-based mental distortion of a judgmental God that is coming back to judge all souls on Judgment Day, who will be deciding who goes to heaven and who goes to hell, which is a false concept based in fear and separation consciousness. Ask yourselves, if all souls are aspects of Source consciousness, extensions of the Divine Mind, having experiences in duality consciousness, then collectively we're all one with Source. Why would Source choose to judge aspects of itself and condemn aspects of itself to a lake of fire for eternity? Think on this for a moment. Our participation in the duality experiment is about learning by experiencing the extremes of goodness and evil to facilitate our mental and spiritual evolution. There is no judgment of our choices and actions by Source. There is only choice and consequence, because as you do unto others, you do unto the self. Divine judgment has nothing to do with it. In truth, there is no divine judgment by the Creator, because life is not a competition, but a journey of enlightenment to know thyself. It is we who judge ourselves as part of our life review and determine if the lessons were learned successfully or not, and determine the consequence of our collective choices and actions in the past life. Do we repeat the cycle, or do we ascend? There is more to this teaching, but that will come forward when the moment arrives to do so. I leave you now with the grace of the infinite Creator who is my judge. Please be loving and kind to each other. I honor you.